match, sitting in Pat Rafter's seat, watching the Australian Open men's final play out, and it was a great match. Except that the player who was on court that evening, a player whom you might recognise, Roger Federer, he wasn't playing very well. In fact, he was losing the match. So as he's losing, what does he do? He looks up to where his mate, Pat Rafter, normally sits. And instead he sees a Vietnamese refugee. And I lean forward and I go, "Roger, just hit the ball." And ladies and gentlemen, Roger Federer ended up winning the match that night. He won the Australian Open Men's Championship for that year. On another occasion, I found myself being brought to this school. It was a school that taught all the kids that had been kicked out of every other school. Before I walked into this classroom, they warned me, they said, "Khoa, the kids in this class, they're pretty rough. If they throw anything at you, just duck." I thought, goodness me. So I walk into this classroom, and in the front row were two girls holding lighters, trying to burn this desk down. And at the back was a boy, and would just tap his foot and would not look up the entire time. And I thought to myself, what am I going to say to these students? How am I going to try to connect to them? But when I started telling them stories about how it worked in Western Sydney, of young people from different backgrounds, when they realised that I'd shared in a lot of experiences, but they'd also shared in, they realised that we were all on the same team. I managed to earn their trust and their respect. And then of that lesson, which lasts about half an hour or so, one of the boys puts up his hand, and so far, this boy hadn't said anything. He puts up his hand and he goes, "When I grow up, I want to be just like Arnold Schwarzenegger." Have you ever met Arnold Schwarzenegger? So I looked at him and I said, "Almost. If only my dad had ticked Austria." I did that lesson, but they just said, "Khoa, can you share with us what are some of your thoughts on success in life?" And I said this: I believe that success isn't about what we're born with. It's about what we do with what we're born with. I believe in our lives, we get knocked down all the time. It's about how we get back up, how we get the whole team back up with us. I believe it's in our greatest obstacles we'll receive many of our greatest opportunities. I believe we should focus on what we have rather than on what we're lacking. We should be grateful for everything that we have. I believe we should enjoy our journey and not take ourselves too seriously. Because in the end, I believe that anything is doable. If a former refugee with no shoes, who works in the arts, who lives in the poorest parts of Sydney, can become a Young Australian of the Year, then anything is achievable. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to wish you all the very best in your journey ahead at the Australia Council